Disney Lorcana. What do we know and when is it coming? In all honesty, we don't know all that much. We have 9 cards have been revealed, and they show us the 8 colors and maybe a taste of what each color specializes in. The colors are ruby, amber, amethyst, sapphire, steel, and emerald. Do you already know what color you will play? Let me know in the comments below. So, what do we know? We know that Lorcana is a trading card game being developed by the folks at Ravensburger. Ravensburger is very experienced in developing games licensed by Disney. In fact, they created the board game called Villainous and the various expansions. I think there's 5 expansions for the game now. They're fantastic games. They deal with cards, but they also deal with tokens. I actually recommend picking them up if you get the opportunity. They're wonderful, great fun for adults and kids alike. What we know so far about Lorcana is quite limited. We have a release period. They're telling us fall 2023 for release. And we have the 6 color identities, which are emerald, ruby, amethyst, sapphire, amber, and steel. Each one of these colors is an ink, and each deck can be comprised of up to 2 inks. The card types that we know about at the moment are hero, villain, and action. Let's talk about the 9 cards that have been revealed already. First up is Captain Hook, Forceful Duelist. His character type is Dreamborn Villain Pirate Captain, and he's summoned using steel ink. It has 1 diamond shape down in the right-hand side, right there on the card, and its ability is Challenger +2. When challenging, this character gets +2 power. That's what I've been calling the leftmost number. You've got that number pairing at the bottom right of the art. I've been calling it power and defense or power and toughness, similar to Magic the Gathering. The next card is Cruella de Vil, Miserable as Usual. Her type is Storyborn Villain, summoned using emerald ink, and she has 1 diamond. Her ability is You'll Be Sorry. When this character is challenged and banished, you may return a chosen character to their player's hand. Next up is Stitch Rockstar. He's a Floodborn hero alien summoned using amber ink, and he has 3 diamonds. His abilities are Shift 4. You may pay 4 ink to play this on top of one of your Stitch characters. This seems to imply to me that somewhere in the game, you'll either be limited to 1 per character name, including the subtitle, or you'll be able to have multiple copies of each character in your deck. His second ability is Adoring Fans. Whenever you play a character with cost 2 or less, you may exert it to draw a card. At this point, I'm assuming that exert means the same as tap in Magic. You tap the card and you get to draw. The next card is Mickey Mouse, Brave Little Tailor. He's a Dreamborn hero, summoned using ruby ink. He has 4 diamonds. And his ability is Evasive. Only characters with Evasive can challenge this character. To me, it seems like this functions in a similar fashion to flying in Magic, in that you either have to have flying to interact with this creature, or you have to have reach. I think they've simplified that for this game into just characters with Evasive have to be challenged by characters with Evasive. Next card is Maleficent, Monstrous Dragon. She's Storyborn Villain Dragon, summoned using ruby ink, and she has 2 diamonds. Her effect is Dragonfire. When you play this character, you may banish chosen opposing character To me, this reads like an enter the battlefield. So when you play the character as it enters the battlefield, you can banish or destroy an opponent's glimmer. Next card up is Robin Hood, everybody's favorite fox. Robin Hood, unrivaled archer. He's storyborn hero, summoned with sapphire ink. He has 2 diamonds on the card. He also has 2 effects, the first of which is Feed the Poor. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw a card. And second effect is Good Shot. During your turn, this character has evasive. The way this reads to me, it feels like there's going to be no hand size limit, or the hand size limit's relatively large, meaning that you can run either a draw deck or a mill deck somewhat effectively, although it neuters the mill effect to a degree, making it quite a bit less effective in this environment than in Magic. Next up is ELSA, Snow Queen. She's Dreamborn Hero Queen Sorcerer, summoned using Amethyst ink, and she has 1 diamond. Her only ability is Freeze. Exert chosen opposing character. By my understanding, that would mean essentially tap the character for 1 turn. I believe it'll be an activated ability, so you'll have to exert ELSA to exert another glimmer. But it seems like a pretty decent trade-off for the cost. We'll see how it works in the end. I actually kind of feel like Amethyst is going to be a little bit more about control. So doing it that way makes a lot of sense to me. Next up is Dragonfire. Dragonfire is an action, and it's played using Ruby ink. In the top left corner, where the cost indicator is, you'll notice that there's no swirly bits around it. I think that characters, glimmers, creatures, have that swirly bit to indicate that they are glimmers rather than actions. So I think that we're going to see any actions or items or whatever subcategories of cards between the creatures and non-creatures, they will be missing that swirl, same way that Dragonfire is now. Dragonfire does exactly what Maleficent's ability does, and it banishes a chosen character. So I think that if you are running a deck that does not have Maleficent, or you would like to up the ante a little bit and increase the number of removal spells, this would be what you would add to your deck. All right, the last card we have today is Olaf, Friendly Snowman. He's a Storyborn ally and is summoned using Amethyst ink. At this time, we don't have any details. We don't know if he has any diamonds on him. We don't know what effects he has or what sort of uses he might have. We can infer sort of what he does from the Amethyst ink, but I don't really want to be guessing anything at this time. So digging a little bit into the mechanics of the game, it seems that we can actually build decks with up to 2 ink colors. We can run a mono deck. We're not required to have 2 inks, as far as I know. But it is interesting that we're limited to only 2 as the cap. So you're not going to see anything like in Magic where you have 3 or 4 or 5, or in this case 6 color mix-ups going on. I think we're going to see a lot of monocolored decks, and I think the dual color decks are going to make a larger showing in any sort of competitive play that there might be. Moving on, players of the game are called Illumineers, and they use ink to summon Disney characters as glimmers. We've kind of touched on this already, but to break it down, for those of you who are familiar with Magic or Pokemon, Illumineers are the trainer or the planeswalker, whereas Ink is mana or energy, land or energy, and the characters are glimmers, similar to Pokemon being Pokemon versus, say, trainer cards, which are items or actions. And same in Magic, glimmers are much like creatures, as opposed to sorcery or instant cards. Alright, so moving on to the diamonds. Some cards seem to have more than others. We've got some with 1, we've got some with 4. There's no information about these yet. So all we can really do is take a look at what we know about the cards already and see if we can't infer what they're used for. Given that it's Disney and it's from Ravensburger, I think it's reasonable to assume that they're either a cost, like a resource allotment, or perhaps a score. I've heard some theories that it could also relate to some sort of secondary game, which is used in place of, say, combat. Because this is a family-oriented game, I think Disney's going to move away from anything that sounds aggressive, like combat or destruction or killing. And they're going to stick with things like victory and challenging. And challenging, I think, is going to take some form of, like, mini-game in order to determine victory. Last but not least, let's talk about the release date. The team behind Lorcana at Ravensburger has been releasing details really slowly, sort of like an IV drip. We know that the release will be in fall 2023, so it's not like we're in any rush. But for now, I feel like they're well on their way to getting us addicted to this game. We don't really know all that much yet, but what we do know is pretty tantalizing. If you learned anything from this today, please let me know in the comments below. Next time, I'll be talking about Magic 30, Yu-Gi-Oh! 25, some of the differences, and maybe where Yu-Gi-Oh! 25 is doing things right. So if you got value from today's video and you want to see more, please hit the like button, smash subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And remember, stay cozy, folks.